With spring just around the corner, I thought I would freshen up my kitchen decor. Hi there, my name is Sandra, and you're watching The Schwowin's Nest. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you could hit that red button. I found the majority of the items that I'm going to be working with today at the Goodwill. And for this beautiful crate, which looks almost brand new, I paid $2.99. I believe it would be for a bottle of wine, but I decided to make it into some farmhouse decor. I'm going to paint both of the sides and the inside of the sides with white, but I'm going to leave the slats on the front and the back in the wood color. I just like that combination of the white with the wood. You'll have to let me know if you like that combination too, or if you think I should have painted the whole thing white. I thought it would be fitting to use this Devonshire Clotted Cream IOD stamp, and the ink that I use is just from a dollar store. I've seen this ink in different areas, but I know that Walmart carries some good ink. You don't have to spend $20 or $30 on an ink pad. You can buy one for $5 or $6 and it will work just as well. I'm going to use the same one on the other side, and it was really easy to get these centered because I put the points of this stamp in the middle of the slats on either side. So it turned out pretty good, even just with me eyeballing it. I paid 50 cents for this milk jug. It's not vintage by any means, but it's got some neat labels and it has a cow on it. So what I'm going to do with it is just take my DIY chalk paint. I'm not going to water it down or anything, but I'm going to pour a decent amount inside the bottle and then just roll it around so the paint covers the inside. And that will make it look like it has milk in it. Then what I'll do is just turn it upside down and let the rest of the paint drain out. Now, just be aware that paint, when you do this on the inside of a bottle, it usually takes a couple of days for the paint to dry completely, sometimes even 3 or 4 days. So just be aware of that before you start adding any decor to it. In my opinion, I think this is the best way to paint glass bottles or jars, and you get that nice glossy finish on the outside from the original jar, but then you get any type of color that you want to pour in on the inside. This is what it looked like when I put these two together. I am so excited to share with you that I am partnering with Costway again. They sent me a wonderful kitchen appliance, and I'll show you that in a moment. But I want you to take a look at what they've got in regards to small kitchen appliances. They have so many items to choose from, and right now they are on sale. It's a site-wide 15% off of pretty much all of their products. I've been wanting to try an air fryer for a really long time, and this is the one that I chose. Right now, it's on clearance for $89, but I have to say it works amazing. It's a huge 6.5 quart air fryer oilless cooker, and it has 8 preset functions and a smart touch screen. Let me show you how it works. The first thing I wanted to try was reheating some of my roast chicken that was in the freezer. This is the screen and it's just a touch screen. The settings are defaulted to 360 degrees Fahrenheit and 15 minutes. And all I did was press the start button and let it do its thing. When I stop them, you just press the pause button again after 5 minutes. Now remember, this is only 5 minutes. It's already looking delicious. The skin is getting nice and crispy again. It's starting to bubble. I really love being able to do this with my chicken and get it fresh again. Next, to complete this meal, I am going to do some of these little baby potatoes. I'm just going to cut some of the larger ones in half so everything's a uniform size. I'm using some avocado oil and I'm going to spritz some onto the potatoes and then add my seasonings like salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic. Then I'm going to toss up the potatoes a little bit and then put them in the air fryer basket. One of the main reasons why I wanted an air fryer was to eat more healthy. Last year in 2022, I lost 27 pounds doing a little bit of a keto diet. I'm not full bore on it, but it works for me. And this air fryer has made things so much easier to cook healthy. This air fryer is super easy to work. You press the temperature and the time button up here, and then the temperature will flash. You just use the plus and minus buttons to make it do what you want it to do. Do the same thing with your timing. I'm setting these potatoes for 400 at 10 minutes and then press the start button and away it goes. Once the time has run down, it will beep to let you know that it's finished. And take a look at these gorgeous potatoes. They're so nice and crispy. They've got some little brown crispy edges to them. 10 minutes wasn't quite enough to get them completely fork tender, so I added another 5 minutes, and this is how they look. Then I take them out, I put them back in the bowl where the oil and the seasonings were in that I mixed previously, and then I just shake them up again so they get a little bit more coated. And my husband and son loved these potatoes. I really love how easy this air fryer is to clean. The bottom grate just comes right out. It's got a little handle. You can pull it right out. I just let it soak with some hot water and some dish soap for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to take my soft sponge and just simply wipe out the bottom, give it another rinse, and it's good to go for my next meal. I really, really love how easy this guy is to clean. Costway has something for everyone, whether you're looking for some home decor, maybe some outdoor furniture, some small appliances like I was looking at, there is going to be something for you for sure. Take a look at those large wagon wheels. They are beautiful and not even that expensive. Make sure when you're done watching this video that you head down to my description box, click on the links to Costway. There is a site-wide 15% off sale right now. You're not going to want to miss out, especially if there's some big ticket items that you would like to purchase for your home. Costway will help you create a home of delights. Every once in a while, I go thrifting and I found this menu board just the other day, and I thought it would be the perfect addition to this video because it has kitchen related ideas on it already. However, I am going to make it something new. I removed all of the hardware and popped out both of those little sign pieces, and now I'm going to give it a couple of good coats of my DIY chalk paint in black. If you're looking for a recipe for DIY chalk paint, I do have one down in my description box, along with a link to some talc, which is what I use to create my own chalk paint. I painted both of the boards of this piece with a couple of coats of white chalk paint. And then I went over to my Cricut and I cut out some lettering in black. You can see that I already have the word kitchen on the small sign up top there. As per normal, I will have all of this available as a free printable on my website, but I'm also going to be adding the SVG file and the actual vinyl cutouts as products on my Etsy shop. So if you're looking for the SVG file just so you can cut it out using your own Cricut, I'll have that available too. And then if you don't have a Cricut, but you'd like to work with this vinyl, I'll cut it out for you, send it to you on the transfer tape. So all you have to do is add it to your project. I'm going to add some gentle distressing just using this paintbrush on its side like that, just kind of pulling it along the edges to give it a little bit more of a distressed look. I love how this sign turned out. I love the quote on it, and I hope you like it too. I got a set of 4 of these canisters for $10 off of Facebook Marketplace, and they are huge. This is the third largest size. You know how canisters come in a set of 4? Well, this is the third largest. So there's even one that's bigger than this, which I haven't done anything to yet. These cow prints on there are sweet, and maybe 25 years ago, I would have had them this way in my kitchen, but I'm past that and I like more of a rustic farmhouse look, not cutesy. I just put some masking tape all the way around the frame of it. And I did make a mistake here. I forgot to add some spray sealer to this shiny surface first before I started to paint. So when I started removing the tape, I did have a little bit that wanted to come up a little bit. It started to peel up, but I just fixed that with some Mod Podge at the end. So just a couple of coats of DIY chalk paint in black, and that will just cover all of these sweet little cows up and make space for a nice label. You'll be able to see here in a minute what I meant about some of the paint starting to peel off with the tape. It starts on this side and I get a little chunk out of there, but I was able to just fix that up afterwards with some paint. Make sure you seal it with something. It could be even some Mod Podge. That would work great as well on the slick surface. The first thing I did was take my Cricut and cut out just on some cardstock this stencil. That didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to, so I repainted the label black. And now I'm going to go ahead and use the letters that came from the cutout of the stencil, which are on cardstock, and add them to the label. So while the paint is still wet, I'm just going to be adding all of the letters. And then once the paint is completely dry, I'll add a really good coat of Mod Podge and make sure that those letters are stuck down perfectly. I also added these little laurel leaves that were part of the stencil too, and I think this is really a fun way to just get something on there. It's just like putting on some stickers. To clean up the edges of the label and where the paint did peel off just a wee bit, I'm going to use this marker. It's a glass marker. I picked this up at a dollar store. I can't remember which one, but it works really good on shiny surfaces. So I'll just use my ruler and then just straighten out all 4 of the edges. A tip that I can share with you is make sure you wipe off your ruler every time you use a marker, because that marker is always going to be on the ruler and you don't want to make a mistake and add it to a part of your project that shouldn't have any black on it. I'm going to have this label available as a free printable on my website and as an SVG file on my Etsy shop. Every kitchen table needs a napkin holder, and this one does double duty because it's also a salt and pepper shaker holder. Now, it is a darker wood underneath. I had spray painted this a long time ago when I did a big batch of spray painting in the summer, and it's been waiting to get a completed makeover. So what I'm doing now is just adding one really good coat of DIY chalk paint, and that will just freshen it up and make everything look the same. I'm also going to be painting the bottom of this piece. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I love printing on tissue paper. I create my designs and then use a piece of tissue paper taped to a piece of regular printer paper and then send it through my printer. If you're not sure how to do that, I do have a link for my tutorial video on tissue paper printing down in my description box. I always use matte Mod Podge. That's just something that I buy in bulk. And I'm going to put a generous amount on here. Not tons. I don't want it to be dripping, but I want to make sure that the whole area that I'm putting my little labels on is completely covered with Mod Podge. That will just make it easier for me to go on top of the label and smooth it out. What I like to do when I'm videoing for you guys is I take my paintbrush and I pick up my piece like that. Now, I wasn't able to do it this way. I had to turn it around and put it on upside down because I wanted to be able to get it in the right spot. And I also wanted you to be able to see how I'm doing it. So I just place it down and then very gently start pushing from the center out, making sure my brush has a good amount of Mod Podge on it. If your brush is too dry, you take the chance of maybe tearing the tissue paper, which is not something you want to do. I'll do the same thing for the S on the other side. And this project is done. I used my wood laser machine to cut out these two pieces that I'm going to glue together and create a decorative cutting board. I have been wanting a new piece to hold my dish soap and my hand soap by my kitchen sink, and I thought this would be perfect. I'm going to use wood glue to attach these two together, and I'm going to clamp it all really good and set it aside to dry for a good couple of hours. Take a look at how many clamps I put on this piece. Oh my gosh, I think I did a little bit too much, but I wanted to make sure that nothing slipped out of place while it was drying. These are the little wood feet that I'm going to put on the bottom of this, and you have your choice. You can either put the small side on the cutting board, or you can do it like I'm doing when the large piece on the cutting board. These are tiny little wood egg cups that I picked up from a craft supply store where I live. If at all possible, when you're working with wood pieces and glue, it's a good idea to try and glue the raw wood pieces together first and then paint. Otherwise, you risk the glue not sticking if you're putting it on top of paint. I've had some people ask me where I get my spindles and that they struggle trying to find different bits and pieces. So I'm going to have these little spindle feet available in sets of 4 on my Etsy shop. This was the original color that I painted this piece, and I really like this color, but then I added some white wax. So this is just a little mixture of clear wax with a little bit of white paint in it. And when I started putting this on, I really wasn't happy with how it looked together. So I put it on, I wiped it off, and not happy. So I ended up just going back to basics and painting the whole thing white. However, I did use some of the white wax on the wooden feet, and I left those the way they were. Using my Cricut once more, I created some white labels that I'm going to be putting on some new soap containers. I want to have a really nice, pretty look for spring with some new dish soap and hand soap containers that I'm going to leave by my kitchen sink. It's really hard to see what I'm doing here, but I'm doing a reverse sort of weeding where I'm taking out the letters because I want this to have sort of a round label look to it. These are the soap dispensers, and they're a really pretty gray color. And maybe you can see why I didn't want to have the riser gray as well now because it just didn't look right together. Anyhow, this is what the label looks like. It's white, and I will have both of these available as free printables on my website, and I also have the SVG file on my Etsy shop. And if you'd like to have these labels already cut out for you, that will be an option too. Have them available in white or black. I really hope you enjoyed my kitchen refresh thrift store flips today and got some inspiration to look at things a little differently when you're at the thrift store. Don't forget to go down to my description box and click on the links to Costway. Remember, they're having a 15% off site-wide sale and you don't want to miss out. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Bye for now.